this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a marvelous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. I just want to give a special shout out to Meghan Markle, who's living her best life and showing what class under pressure looks like. Here she is with her friend, Serena Williams, at a polo match that her husband was participating in Florida sometime recently. Meghan Markle has been under the most unbelievable criticism and hatred of anybody I have ever seen. You would think that Meghan Markle was Malcolm X, Dr. King, Medgar Evers, and every other civil rights leader that ever lived, all rolled into one. This is the reason for all of that hatred and animosity. She married Prince Harry, Prince of the United Kingdom or Great Britain or whatever it is, and they were so offered to her and treated her so poorly that she decided, you can take this job and shove it. And she came home. But guess what? He followed her. Meghan came home. And that is the problem. They want him back, but they don't want her back. At this point, they have to realize that this man has changed his life all the way around from when he was over there. Even if he went back over there, he wouldn't be the same person. He has 2 children. The British people, and I don't think that means all of them, but enough of them don't want to accept Meghan or their children to the point of putting out lies saying the children don't even exist. And then she won't show the children. Show us your children. Show us your children. It's giving uncontrolled obsession. They're obsessed with this woman, with this family, with their lifestyle, and the fact that he seems to be thriving in the United States without the whole British monarchy behind them. It's giving obsession. And the venom and craziness and hatred that go with that obsession really shows the British monarchy to be a very petty, weak, vindictive, and evil institution. On her wedding day to Prince Harry, there was nothing to suggest that this wasn't going to be a great romantic royal marriage. I don't think anybody foresaw the disaster that it seems to have turned out to be. And by disaster, I mean the hatred that's just ongoing with her. They just won't let it go. But what's happened is that she, not intentionally, but Meghan Markle has exposed the garbage that the British royal family is. Now, we got a glimpse of what the British royal family was about in 1997 when Princess Diana died in that car wreck. Prince William and Prince Harry were traumatized by what happened to their mother, according to Harry, and they didn't really get the support they needed, and they really weren't allowed to grieve. That's the first problem. At the time of her death, Princess Diana was dating this man, Dodi Al-Fayed, who was a Muslim from Egypt, and his father said that the royal family had her killed because they didn't want the future king of England's mother, and that's Prince William. They didn't want her to be involved with a Muslim, and his father said an N-word from Africa. So that's the first sign of racism in the royal family. And I should say the first outward sign, because they were very definitely enslavers and colonizers. This is Mr. Mohammed Al-Fayed, actually the owner of Harrods department store. I think he's passed now, but he was a billionaire in his own right. He felt so strongly that his son has been murdered because his son died in that car wreck too. He felt so strongly. He had an investigation going on for a long time. He went to the national and international media telling the world that they had had his child killed. He said the royal family was behind that car wreck, and he fingered this man right here, Prince Philip, Prince Harry, and Prince William's grandfather. He said he was behind it, but they did not want Diana to be involved with Dodi Al-Fayed, and they said they were engaged to be married and that she was expecting a child. So now that's all of it is alleged and speculation. But Princess Diana was in the way. She was a stumbling block for Prince Charles and this woman right here, the one that he's married to now. He had been involved with this woman for a long time. That's who he wanted. And I recently learned that if he had become king while he was married to Princess Diana, he would not have been able to divorce her, because you can't divorce a queen. I'm not sure that's true, but that's what was said. At any rate, he went ahead and got divorced from Princess Diana before he became king. He had no idea how long his mother was going to live. It turned out to be quite long. But he went ahead and got Diana out of the way. So Buckingham Palace had put out all of this negative press about Princess Diana. But this is what the public saw. And you see these children and the happiness on their faces. They look so happy and so pleased and so smug with their mother. And even Prince Charles acknowledged that she showered them with love and affection and attention. Some of it that she didn't get from him, evidently. But those boys loved their mother. That came through with everybody who saw how she behaved when she came back from a trip, and how she just grabbed them and hugged them and kissed them just like a black mother. But they were used to that loving and affection. And then she was taken away. And then we saw this, William and Harry with their father looking at the mountain of flowers that had been left in memory of their mother. And then we saw them with their uncle and their grandfather and father walking to the church to their mother's funeral. That flag that's draped over that casket is called a royal standard. And that's what they put on the casket when a member of the royal family dies. But because she and Prince Charles were divorced, they weren't going to even put the royal standard on her casket. You have to watch the movie The Queen to get a feel of how they really took Diana's death. The Queen did not even want to recognize Diana because she was divorced from Prince Charles. And she said she's no longer a member of the royal family. Let her family take care of that. Tony Blair, who was the prime minister at the time, had to call her several times and told her, I need you to understand, you need to get down here to London and make a speech and say something about this woman's death. Because this is a big deal and people are really hurting and they want you to say something. But at the beginning, she said she wasn't going to say anything because she was no longer a member of the royal family. And here they are standing there watching the hearse drive their mother's body away. The whole world watched in shock that a member of the royal family would die in a car accident. It didn't sound right to a lot of people, and a number of people have done documentaries on this wreck. And Mr. Al-Fayed is not the only person who thinks that something shady went wrong with this. My point for bringing this up is that the royal family can be very vicious. Based on what people say, Meghan Markle said she almost lost her mind up in there dealing with those people. Princess Diana says it's the suits at Buckingham Palace. And those are the parasites that live off the royal family. They're the ones that are calling the shots and making decisions. And Prince Charles and them are just going along with whatever they say. But that system is corrupt and it needs to be dismantled. Because they really are doing more damage than good in the world. They are some of the first to engage in enslaving Africans, colonizing, robbing, plundering and pillaging Africa, and it's really time for it to stop. Meghan Markle, in her effort to try to mix in, assimilate into that family, and be a part of that family, has actually been a catalyst in exposing who they are. Because all she was trying to do was be married to the man, and she was trying to pass, I guess, or she thought she could pass. She had been passing in the United States, but she did not realize you have come up against some hardcore racists, and they are not going to back down. And they haven't backed down, but she hasn't either.
This beautiful trophy. Once again, put your hands together, folks.
Maybe this is the way it was supposed to be. Maybe she was the one to show who they are to the people who really need to see who they are. African nations, the nations of the Caribbean, are still in that so-called Commonwealth. And the countries of the Caribbean are trying to get out of it. And it would be good if the African nations would get out too. Those people are parasites, and they have been living off the blood of African people for too long. So maybe it took this mixed African descended woman to show this institution up for what it is. And hopefully it will be the beginning of the end of this nightmare of a family. Let me know what you think about this. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, and as always, have a great day.